All right, here we are with an in-studio, everybody in the studio episode of the Slack Doctors. I am Dr. Chip.
I am in-house Dr. Bob.
And I'm producer Dino.
There we go.
The gang is all here.
We are all in the flesh in the same building. Very rare occasion. When is the last time we were actually all here? Last year, for sure,
Yeah,
right?
it's been quite some time.
No, you were here at least once this year, right?
I think I've only been into the studio twice. I feel like.
Yeah, at least once or twice. But yeah.
Maybe only once even, yeah.
So what, you want to tell everybody why you're in town? Or?
Well, you know, part of the reason I came down was because it had been so long since I've been down. But my girlfriend was in town, so it was a convenient, you know, everybody meeting up in the same place. She was visiting an old friend, so.
Your long-distance girlfriend?
Long-distance girlfriend, yeah.
She's still in Ohio, right?
Yeah, she's still in Ohio. And of course, we wanted to get together and do a live in-studio episode and see Dino in person.
So
we subjected Dino to a horrific lunch yesterday, and Dr. Bob takes the full brunt of the blame for that. I think it even put Dr. Chip into a bit of a foul mood at the restaurant.
What?
It just wasn't that good.
I panicked at the last second. I picked a chain place. It wasn't very good. We should have probably, just gone around the block and looked for another place, a local place.
Ford's Garage, great atmosphere, not so great on the food.
Great atmosphere up to a point. Now, I'd like to point out a bit of technology from Ford's that I actually thought was pretty interesting. The bar was extremely cold, to the touch, almost as if it was covered in some sort of brass or something.
Chilled, yeah.
Right, and the behind where your arms and elbows and whatnot would go, a strip of like clear, straight up ice or marble or something,
like ice rink.
Yeah, where you would sit your drink. Now, obviously to keep your drinks cold, this thing was genius. It's a great idea. But we ordered lunch, and that's when you realize it's not exactly a perfect idea, because when you put a hot plate with a burger on it down on this thing, if you don't eat it pretty quick, it's going to take a chill real fast. But all in all, kind of a depressing meal, I must say. And the bartender. No, I'm sorry, not the bartender, but the barhop, or the bar back or whatever, clearly on bath salts or some sort of intoxicant. I don't know.
He was just stoned.
He was just too chatty. I don't know.
He was just having a good work day.
Too unwilling to give up information. We were trying to settle a bet there at the bar about how long the place had been open, and he kept insisting it had been there for 2 weeks, which I feel was a bit of an understatement.
But did you notice he had plenty of flair? He had the required amount of flair.
He did have a lot of flair, and then also he threatened to chase us down if we were to steal the
gasket,
the little gasket that they use, because the whole thing is car themed, so It's got like a screwdriver gasket wrapped around the silverware roll up, which in itself was also like a mechanic's rag or something.
Yeah, that's what you should have stole. That's what we need.
It wasn't until we got back to and I think Dr. Chip made some joke about, this is the thing we want to,
Yeah, I need one of these on my Jeep, on my radiator.
And the bartender's like, don't do it, I heard you, and then this mouthy bar back was like, yeah, don't make me chase you, man. So it was, after we got to Chip's house that I said, hey, man, turn around. And I tossed the ring thing to him, and he's like, oh, really? I was like, yeah, I had to take it after he made the comment like that. You got some light fingers, Everett.
Oh, yeah. Don't challenge him to anything.
Chip bought, so thanks, Chip.
Yeah, right.
I was not, in fact, chased. He did not chase us.
I gotta say, I'm kind of disappointed in Hurricane Alley. Like, why the hell did they got to shut down for 8 days? Like, come on, man, that's just ridiculous. I know it's summer and all, but
we were just unlucky there. Everybody went on vacation at the same time. I used to work for a guy, Rodney Mayo, who does, I don't know if he still does this or not, but they used to do like an annual trip to the Keys, and 100 people or sometimes, just a whole buttload, because he has a bunch of bars and restaurants. We'd all go down there and rent out an entire hotel and stay for, like a long weekend or something. But he didn't shut the places down. There was still always a skeleton crew left behind to run everything.
Those poor bastards.
Right. I was just going to say, in one sense, you could almost tell like who the redheaded stepchildren of the company were, because
you don't get
the invite to go down to the Keys.
You don't get the invite to the Keys orgy.
And just a giant group of bar and restaurant people on their time off. You can only imagine the savagery.
drugs
I don't
consumed
think,
in that weekend.
Well, I'm not going to say anything incriminating, but I don't think that we ever were able to stay at the same hotel the next year. Like it's like we left such a bad taste, or the entire pool, covered. You know, how
I'm surprised. I'm surprised the word didn't get around, and you just didn't get banned from everywhere.
Well, it's a big check. It's a lot of people spending a lot of money.
That's true.
You know those little balls they put in pools to keep the algae down, so they float and cover the entire top, right?
Yeah.
Imagine that, but with like tequila bottles, and that's basically what the pool looks like after the crew wakes up after the second day or so. Everybody immediately gets drunk and then rents scooters. Because it's the only way to get around down there.
Great
you park
idea.
your car at the hotel, and then for the rest of your time there, you take this little scooter around these little streets. And at the time when I went, I had that boulevard, right? So here I am thinking, Billy Badass, like, you don't need it. I've never driven a scooter, ever, because I always thought they were weak and effeminate, and I'd rather, a motorcycle. And they are. So when they're trying to give me the little short training course or whatever for it, I'm like, I don't need that. I ride a motorcycle, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, this is not the clutch. Your left hand is not the clutch. I immediately went right over on the damn thing and like, oh, shit, I'm a dumbass.
I wonder
as cool as I thought I was.
I wonder how many the statistics of how many people end up in the hospital from renting scooters in the Keys. Because I know one guy. I think you used to know him. His name was Eric from Charlie's Crab. Remember, he was friends with Scott Sheridan, balding dude?
Yeah, I know that guy.
He told the story of one time he went down to the Keys, got drunk, got on a scooter, and went over the handlebars, knocked out all his teeth. Ended up in the hospital with a concussion and no teeth, and had to get all his mouth reconstructed and stuff like this. And it's like, that's got to happen on the regular down there. I would
absolutely.
think.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get any injuries or anything, but I'm pretty sure every one of us signed a waiver.
Well, yeah, but the waiver don't keep you from getting hurt. You're still taking the damage.
Yeah, and you're on an island with a massive drinking problem with tiny little narrow streets.
It's funny. I played for a week down there in a band. Back when I was in Sex Cells, we were like 5 days, Tuesday through Saturday, something like that. And for 5 days down there, they had this silly little band house, which is basically a room with a bunch of bunk beds in it. All right, so basically you play there. The first night you get there, you play. You get up the next morning, and you're like, okay, well, we don't play till 9 o'clock tonight. What are we going to do all day? Guess what there is to do?
Drink.
That's it.
Yeah, drink. Plenty of it.
And there's literally right down the steps from the band house is the bar. I mean, literally, you walk right down the stairs, there's the bar. You're like, okay, I'll have a beer, I guess. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. I go, yeah, I don't know. What else are we going to do? And the funny other story about that is we were there so long, we actually had to a couple of us had to do some laundry. So we went to this laundromat a couple of blocks off of Duval Street. And we're sitting there doing our laundry, and there's this guy walking down the street. He's bald as a cue ball, and just, you can tell he's obviously gay. He's just slinking down the street. But as he actually walked by, I noticed his legs are perfectly shaved. And I'm like, this guy is a girl at night.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely certain this is one of the drag queens that walks around at night. There's no question. I'm like, this is definitely one of them.
Yeah, you essentially caught him out of uniform.
Yeah, exactly. Just walking around in the day, day walker, tranny, whatever the hell they call it.
Have you ever been down there? What is it, Moonfest?
No.
What's that crazy ass? I think they do it for Halloween, right?
Yeah. Whatever fest.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's supposedly a big naked freaking
that's
craziness going on. My dad went to that one year.
Now, are you talking
Really?
about? You're not talking about Fantasy Fest.
Yes, Fantasy Fest.
Yeah,
That's
it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I've never been to that. Never been to Fantasy Fest. But I mean, anytime in your Key West, I mean, the week we were there, it was pretty debaucherous. There was a lot of stuff.
I've seen a lot of footage of stuff like that. But
and
the thing about footage though is that you can't smell it.
Yeah. The funniest story from that 5 days we were down there. At the time, we had this rhythm guitar player named Kirk. And we all had caravan down there in 3 cars, a truck, and a couple of cars or something, whatever. But he was driving one of them. And as soon as we got to Key West, literally as soon as we pulled in, he got pulled over and got a ticket for not coming to a complete stop at a sign or something stupid like that. So we were pissed. We're like, oh, fuck, what the fuck? And we had these stickers. And the name of the band was Sex Cells. Cells is spelled C-E-L-L-S. Anyway, our little play on words, whatever. So we started putting these stickers on every cop car we could find. Because, there's mostly foot traffic there anyway. You see a cop car, there's not usually a cop near it or whatever. Right. So literally by the end of the 5 days, we were every cop car went by, had our fucking Sex Cell stickers on the back. It was hilarious. Anyway, but good old days. That's when I had long hair, and man, this was.
Would that be considered vandalizing like police property?
I don't
You're
know,
not
maybe.
doing any destruction to it.
No, that's
and unless
true.
you put the sticker like over an operating light or something.
Yeah, no,
Let's
we just
check
didn't
in
want-
with Dino on his opinion on this as a former law enforcement officer.
I mean, I wouldn't charge anybody, but
No,
I would
I'm not
go,
sure you could. Truthfully,
come
you could
take
just
the sticker
peel it off.
or you're going to jail.
Right. So here's a question: how many stickers would it take before you actively started looking for, asking people around? Hey, does anybody know who these sex cells guys are? 5, 10, 20?
2. They could get out of hand after 2.
You know, I bet though that there's probably a very special type of officer that they hire to work down in Key. Like I would imagine it's similar to the cops that work in New Orleans for in Mardi Gras and stuff. Like you got to have a certain
I've heard
live
all-
and let live attitude to it.
Yeah.
From what I hear, all the cops in New Orleans are all corrupt. They're all like Mexico, or like something you can just bribe your way to anything.
Supposedly, Louisiana in general is a very has always been known
Point
to
your
be very
mic
corrupt.
at your face. It's a little directional.
All right, how's that? Is that better?
Way better, yeah.
Okay.
Crisp.
Anyway.
So crisp and so clean.
All right, so you want to get to some voicemails? You want to do some clips? What do you think?
We do the voicemails first.
Time for voicemail. Well, it turns out, as Mayor Mandami and several of these recent elections are proving, apparently New York City has gone anti-Semitic, which is quite interesting. And at the same time, people in Israel are now saying, seeing that they're losing support worldwide, are now saying that they have weapons that they haven't used yet, that they're keeping secret, that they're now threatening to use. Sounds like a nuke.
Well, yeah, I would say absolutely. If they're, does anybody surprised that they have them though? I mean, I thought that was kind of common knowledge.
But they're, the way they're secretly, hinting at, like, oh, if you guys cut us off and turn away from us, we're going to, have to use weapons. We haven't told. You think you'd put it past them in nuke New York?
I don't think that. Yeah. No.
I mean, if New York, completely goes, anti-Israel. I mean, but there are so many pro-Israel, Jews in New York. That would really be. But they do have a Hannibal directive, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of Jewish institutions and neighborhoods, and I don't see. Even if they are losing some support, I would imagine it's still a significant amount of support there.
I'm not sure they've shown a lot of care about institutions, or from what I hear, I don't think that's really a big concern of theirs. But whatever. Anyway, that was my inflammatory voicemail of the day. Is there another one? Or is that it?
There's another one from you. Here we go.
So I'm watching an episode of Pierce Morgan, and they got this Eric Weinstein unit on here. What a piece of work he is. But anyway, I guess he considers himself some sort of an expert on the old Iran thing.
Now, isn't that the guy? I see him on Rogan all the time. Isn't he some like theoretical physicist or something?
He is.
Okay. Even though we do this, and we obviously claim not to be experts or anything, but the whole Dunning-Kruger effect, when somebody like, and Neil deGrasse Tyson comes to mind as a good example of somebody who is, a master in their field, but then once they start taking on things that are outside of it, they really don't have.
Well, Eric Weinstein claims to either live in Israel or have lived in Israel and to be an expert on the subject.
All right, we'll finish. Let's keep going then.
And they're talking about it, and he's speculating that if when they started this war, or when they did the 12-day war, or whatever, if the CIA and Mossad had run guns to Iran to give to people to rise up and rebel against the government, it would have worked. I guess he doesn't know the well-known fact that, they got busted for running guns, doing exactly that. And then they had to kind of, explain why they were doing it and got in trouble for it. So how is this guy even considered an expert on anything when he doesn't even know the basic facts? I mean, is this what's wrong with legacy media? They got these people on there that you're supposed to trust that don't know anything?
I should say it was like on a CNN show or something like that. It wasn't like he was on Rogan. But yeah, he's making these claims, and he's like, yeah, if they'd have armed them when they were, and they did. They got in trouble for it. They got busted for it. How does he not know that? Has he not ever been I mean, what kind of expert is he?
Yeah.
Have you never been to Iran? Don't you see that they armed the Kurds and it didn't work? That's, and that's the stupid thing. That's why 4,000 of them, and not 40,000 like they're claiming, but that's why the 4,000 people got killed, because they armed them and said, yeah, rise up against your government. And they did. And they got slaughtered. Yeah, it's so crazy. Anyway. So that's it on the voicemail?
That's it from, no, there is one more voicemail.
Okay.
There's one more voicemail that
yeah,
you've not heard, all right? You ready for this?
There we go.
Hey, Slackman. Johnny Trindlin here. And I just got a call real quick because I've heard some of your shows. And I know you support the Second Amendment.
I'd like to pause for just a second to say that I don't know who this gentleman is, but he sounds like a God-fearing American.
What's his last name? Trindlin?
Johnny Trindlin.
Okay.
Johnny Trindlin here. Now, this is a slightly different flavor from, our fans are quite diverse. We've got Victor
clearly
hiding out in Siberia, and let's get back to Johnny.
And I got to tell you, I do too. I got a shotgun in my back window
God
of my
bless you,
pickup
sir.
truck, and I will grab that and use that as I see fit to protect my family and anybody else. I love my Slackman, and I'm going to keep listening. I'm going to tell my friends about you, and we'll be watching you on YouTube. Johnny Trindlin. That's me.
Johnny Trindlin. I wonder clearly the man sounds like he's from somewhere in the South, I would say.
It sounds like it. Maybe possibly Apex, South Carolina or something.
Yeah, somewhere, it could be somewhere in the Carolina range.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Could be.
I don't know, but
Wow.
I'm happy to have him on board.
Absolutely.
And I, too, also proudly support the Second Amendment.
Wouldn't that be great if you put your shotgun in the back of your car? Like just on a rack, right in the back of your Honda?
Yeah. Honda Civic with a gun
Hang the
rack
rack
in it.
from the top down.
I tell you, in Gainesville, there's obviously almost everything in the city there involves the university, but there are still what I would call old school Florida crackers on the outskirts there,
yeah.
and there's plenty of hunting and fishing. I've seen a guy pop out of the woods on one side of the road with I'm assuming it was some sort of long gun. I think it was a shotgun on his shoulder, and like 4 hounds on a long, all leashed together,
Right.
and cross the street and then disappear into the woods on the other side with the dogs.
Wow.
Okay, what the hell? All right, so the only thing I've ever hunted with dogs is hogs
Yeah, I was thinking
or
the same.
deer. They can scare up deer sometimes.
I was thinking hogs.
But
I
yeah,
think
that's
what he was
mostly.
out there shooting.
But I'm thinking if they're that close to town, are they hunting raccoons? I mean, they call them coon dogs. I don't know.
Yeah, possible. It was not. It was maybe it wasn't that far out of town, really.
I mean, we are getting pretty economically depressed. At one point they were selling raccoon meat in the streets of Detroit, right?
No.
In 09 or so, or in 2010. Yeah, it was so bad. Detroit was so bad they were catching and selling raccoon meat.
I know at one point some businessman had some ludicrous idea of importing hippopotamus to the United States and farming them basically like in the Mississippi River. And look at what Pablo Escobar did with just a handful of them, man. I'm so glad that never occurred.
Well, you wouldn't be able to go in the river anymore.
No,
that's for sure.
no.
Dude,
Gators would be the least of your worries.
Well, they might eliminate the gators. I was just going to say, I
might.
just saw some footage yesterday I don't think it was AI. It looked like it was pretty real, of a gator or a crocodile going to bite a hippopotamus, and the hippopotamus basically just bit its head off.
Yeah.
It did. It just fucking opened its mouth and bit its freaking head off.
I mean, they share territory with Nile crocodiles in Africa.
And kick their ass
But
on
for
a
the most
regular
part,
basis.
the crocodiles leave them the fuck alone.
Yeah,
Everything
yeah.
does.
Well, and I mean, they'll go after the babies, but that's about it. But
What about raccoon? Have you guys eaten raccoon?
I have not
I've
eaten-
never
I have
heard
not.
anybody eating raccoon.
I
Why
think
would
the
they?
wildest thing
Why
I've
would
ever
they
eaten
hunt
is
that?
squirrel once, and it wasn't very good.
No.
And
Lot
I
of
can't
bones.
imagine one squirrel would do much for anybody. I mean, let's be
No,
honest. The
and
squirrel
it's
is
just
a
all
snack.
bones. Yeah, it's like the meat's almost hard to get to. But yeah, it's ridiculous. But no, yeah, I've only really eaten wild pig a few times. But man, that is good. If you get one of those, feral pigs and then somebody knows how to cook them up right, oh my lord, is
Right.
that good?
Speaking of good, Heather and I just went to the seafood place last night. I guess it was last night, Coast Seafood on J Street in Lake Worth Beach, Florida. Outstanding. Best meal I've had in years. And it was, I guess it's some kind of local fish I'd never had before called triple tail. It was delicious, though. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I think, our buddy knew about that place. But you should warn them. Got to bring your own alcohol.
That's as the story goes. Yeah, I don't know. Neither of us drink, so I didn't even notice that there wasn't like a wine list or anything like that. So maybe that's true. I guess it might be.
I'm going to try and talk my landlords into taking me there tonight. They're supposedly taking me to Flanagan's or something like that. I'm like, hey, you guys like seafood?
Yeah, it was like triple tail on a bed of risotto with artichoke hearts, and
nice.
It was delicious.
No,
just delicious.
Sounds good. All righty. Well, I've got a couple of clips. How about you? You got anything you want to kick off with, or?
I mean, you can go first. All right. Well, I shared voicemails.
All right. I got this one that I thought was completely, and before we even share this clip, I should share the story I was telling you about, and not a lot of people realize how Britain or England dissolved their slavery trade, and what they did over there is they didn't just say, okay, you guys are all free. They bought the slaves. The government bought the slaves. As a matter of fact, apparently only a couple of years ago ended up paying. They've been paying for hundreds of years. I guess if your family or something So
that's crazy that they all right. So to do it a one-time deal, that's a bold move. But to do it generationally like that, paying the family is crazy, because how awkward is it to, in the year of our Lord 2025, go cash my check that. Yeah. What's this check for? Well, my family used to own people back in the day, and they're still paying it off because it took a really long time. It was a big loan, but holy moly.
So with that and with general reparations in mind, let's take a look at this lady checking out her ancestry.
Is this that Gates?
That is a list of passengers on the Mayflower.
No, I can't believe this. No, my ancestors did not come here on the Mayflower.
Your ancestors came on the Mayflower.
No.
You are descended
from
one of the 101 people who sailed on the Mayflower.
Oof. That's a little bit too much to deal.
So that woman's name is Angela Davis. She is one of the most anti-white and pro-reparations leaders in America. Not only did she just learn that her ancestors were colonizers, but she later found out that they were also slave owners. You can't pick and choose your bloodline, Angela, and 23andMe says it's time for you to pay up.
Dr. Chip, your ancestors came over real early, didn't they?
Pretty early, yeah.
Like pre-Revolutionary War, right? They fought in the Revolutionary War. So.
There's supposedly, I've heard there's a book about my family name that goes back to like the 12th, 13th century with our lineage and ancestry and all that. I've never seen it, but supposedly, I guess in there would be when we came over, but I don't know when. I mean, I imagine it's probably 1600s if we're there in the 1700s.
Right. So this, 250th anniversary really means something to your family. You've been here the whole time, pretty much.
Supposedly, yeah. But, here's the first thing. So she clearly owes reparations.
Right.
So, all right. So who's she going to pay the reparations to? And, all right, besides that, most every other person on the planet, when you find out, hey, my family was part of the people that founded a great country, they don't go, oof, ooh, ah, ooh. You know what I mean? That's quite the interesting reaction to your folks came over the Mayflower. Ooh, ah. I mean, that's just so weird. I mean,
there's very few places on this globe that you can point to and say, they've always been short of like the North Sentinelese. There's not a lot of, you know what I mean? The island where they'll kill you if you even land on the damn thing. Yeah, there are no good guys. It's just been wave after wave of conquest for all of eternity and all of history.
Yeah,
that's the way people,
just the people that live in the past like this and look. Obviously, the original sin of this country was clearly slavery, especially when we have a document that clearly says all men are created equal.
The hypocrisy is strong in that whole.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and the argument back then is they're not men. Which obviously we've graduated beyond that at this point. We're obviously all Homo sapiens. We're all the same thing.
That is the excuse that was used, and also organized religion played a major part in that too, in the sense that they felt like they were basically treating a race of people almost as children that needed to be taught how to become civilized and how to worship the right God and stop worshiping the ones that they did. Which is where the whole birth of voodoo comes from. to bringing their own African gods and deities and then being forced into Catholicism. And so you just swap out the symbols and, this person represents this person and this represents that.
And, here's the thing. I don't think when they enslaved the Irish, they did it because they thought they were geniuses. They probably also thought these people are too stupid.
Yeah.
They should be slaves. I mean, from whatever reason, because maybe they had, misrepresented by a lot of stupid people. Like,
and also in a lot of parts of the world and a lot of parts of history, it had nothing to do with thinking that somebody was beneath you. It was simply a matter of course, specifically after war. If this area goes to war with that area and we win, one of the things we win is you.
Yep.
In any way that we want to use you. And that's just part of the spoils of war.
Yeah, you're now a prisoner.
It's savage and it's archaic, but it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yep, exactly. All right, well, there's our racism lecture for the day. You got one?
Yes. What, a clip? Let's see.
Yeah,
we got plenty of clips.
I was going to say, we're going to run out of time.
I'm not used to sitting this far away from my screen. That's sad. Usually I'm at home in the isolation chamber. All right, here we go. Some cannabis ice cream machine. So do you think it tastes like weed?
That's what I was gonna. I want to see what it tastes like.
I would think it would be like green tea or matcha or something to
or
try to
mint
mask
tea
the flavor,
or mint or something. Yeah, but I mean, what does weed ice cream taste like?
Speaking as somebody who uses tinctures and RSO oils and stuff like that, and I always go for because I want the entourage effect, so I get the full spectrum. It's got all the terpenes and everything in it. It's not a dessert flavor. It's not something I would. It's not something. I mean, I eat it for the effect. I don't eat it because it's delicious. It's really not that good.
Yeah, that's so wild that somebody would come up with that. Anyway, I wonder how they even synthesize. I mean, do you think there's weed in it?
Well, it's probably just a distillate. I mean,
who knows?
But who knows? It could have full flower in it. Who knows? I don't know.
Maybe. Oh, this is a good one. This is also weed related.
Of course.
These are real Doritos. These are salty and these are crispy. But Homestead police say they encountered a whole bunch of fakes that could make a lot of people very sick.
There's 70 pounds of it altogether.
70 pounds of weed, nearly 1,000 vape pens, and fake brand name snacks laced with high doses of THC.
Right,
it's the same logo, the same font, the same color.
So what I want to know is, are these actual, I'm sure they're not, it's not the actual Cheetos brand, you know what I mean? But are these literally just being made on the black market, or are they legal anywhere? Because one of the questions I've always had for these dispensaries, or dispensaries as my niece likes to say, is that all of the edible options, aside from the distillates and the tincture and stuff like that, but anything that's a food, it's always something sweet. There's never anything savory. It's always gummies, cookies, brownies, chocolate. I'm all aboard with something as long as it's not being marketed to kids, and it is marked on the bag. It does say THC on the bag.
Right.
I would love some weed infused Doritos. That sounds delicious.
Oh no!
You just keep eating and they keep getting more munchies.
After a major undercover bust at Homestead, this video taken by police, we're getting an inside look.
So looks are deceiving. This looks like just a regular bag of flaming hot Cheetos. I mean, check that out inside.
Pause
but
it.
detectives say
As soon as you looking in the open bag, the way it's got that resealable top there, it automatically doesn't look like a regular bag of Cheetos. Yeah. That is absolutely the kind of bag that edibles come into.
Right.
Laced with a concentrated form of THC.
A concentrated
Same
form.
with these counterfeit Doritos. You really have to look to see that THC label at the bottom.
That is a
shitload. Tell me if
shitload.
this looks like any different Cheeto chip that you have ever seen.
It was early Thursday. Undercover Homestead detectives served a warrant at a house that looked like any other. But inside, just empty rooms and these displays of drugs.
Delicious.
Their suspect taken down in the backyard.
Oh, so they're making this at somebody's house.
Yeah, well, maybe, or just distributing it through there. But I will say that for one, I'm assuming it's one serving, that little bag, 600 milligrams is a respectable. That's a lot of weed. That's kind of strong.
I figured they were just making it, at the dispensary places, but somebody's taking the initiative and making it home.
Drugs with this amount, you'll generally find firearms. You'll generally find people protecting the drugs because there's a lot of cash that goes into that.
Well, and you did find a lot of cash.
We found $26,000 in this case.
What's also disturbing, says the chief, not just the deceiving snacks, but all the colorful cartoon-like labeling that seems to be marketed to kids.
Wait. Have you guys not been to like a Grateful Dead concert? I mean, of course stoners are going to, they like their cartoons. All right.
Consumer that's going to buy that knows what they're buying. The problem is you leave that laying around in the house and any child can pick that up.
Those dangerous drugs now off the street. They've been sent to a lab. As for the suspect, the police department not releasing his name yet. It's still an ongoing and active investigation. We're in Homestead. I'm Janine Stanwood, Local 10 News. All right.
Now, if they start making fentanyl Cheetos, people will drop dead.
Well,
yeah, that's for sure. That could be seriously dangerous.
Yeah. Here's the first thing I thought when I saw this is like, I don't know which is worse for you, the Cheetos or the weed. Because Cheetos and Doritos, that's crap.
Usually one leads to the other, but just combining them right off out of the gate like that is pretty dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying weed's good for you, but Doritos may be worse. I think.
Right? At least you can grow weed out of the dirt. You can't. Yeah.
And it's funny.
You need a lab to get Doritos.
It's funny. I just bought like a box of that like almost trail mixy kind of stuff. It's got like nuts and some raisins and some of the little dried fruit, little things. Well, I was thinking to myself, how perfect would it be to make little gummies just the same size as those little dried fruit, sprinkle them in with your trail mix. That'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
We could market those too. All right, anyway.
We just, at my niece's house, I decarbed a bunch of flour, I guess, and I haven't gone back to do anything with it or make brownies.
Decarbed?
Yeah, it's a device that basically preps the weed and activates the THC in it, and from that moment forward, it's just fully edible, and it's an edible form. Oh. It's called decarboxylation is the name of the chemical process that it undergoes. It's basically just keeping it a very, I want to say like 190 degrees Fahrenheit temperature or something, not enough to burn it, almost like making charcoal, with wood, but you're
Do you chop it up first?
No, you don't have to. You just throw it in this thing and do it. And then when you're done, you grind it up. And what you're left with is what I like to call the parsley of the gods. You basically have this green powder that you can simply add to scrambled eggs or anything else that you want to eat. If you want to sprinkle it on brownies, make a batch of brownies, you can. But you can, if you can stomach it, you can just tilt your head back and eat it raw. But my niece works for a pizza place. And I'm certainly not going to say the name after this joke, but I was joking with her and said, you should just grind it all up and swap it out for the oregano and see what happens at the end. And then I see what he calls and complains about that. But just jokes, folks. Nobody would do anything like that.
Who'd waste the money?
Strongly recommend nobody to do it. And that wasting the money, too, yeah. Oh, this is the guy that's running for governor.
Oh, this fucking guy.
Will wake up early, stay late, motivate, inspire their students, dig into their own pockets to cover school supplies for kids who can't afford them. They're doing everything right, and it's time to raise teacher pay in Florida, and I will do that as governor.
But yeah, every politician who's ever run for anything has always, we need to pay teachers more. They all say the same exact thing. It never happens.
They do.
And that's not really the...
This guy's parading around as a conservative, though. He should be going, let's get rid of the Board of Education, not let's just keep...
And it varies wildly by state. I know Florida is a bad state for public educators to get paid. I know in the Northeast, I think they make a lot more money.
At first I like this guy. I was like, he's saying some good things. He wants to divest from Israel. Great idea. But, first of all, the thing where he says that you can't have a COVID shot if you want it. I'm like, all right, look, I don't ever want a COVID shot, but you can't tell people they can't have it.
Right. I think one of the best idea I heard proposed by this guy was the one about the doing like its own air system, airports for domestic flights within interstate, not intrastate.
It's not a huge issue in any way. But,
but it was a good idea.
Yeah, but otherwise, this guy's more liberal than I really like. He wants to control everybody's body, whether it be taking COVID or he wants to completely ban abortion.
Right.
So it's like, come on, man. What happened to my body, my choice, bodily autonomy? Well, this guy's not a conservative at all. And he's such a DeSantis sycophant. He worships at the idol of DeSantis. I don't know what's up with that because
he doesn't have to be adversarial with him because DeSantis can't run for another term.
Exactly.
So and he's basically just trying to slide in there as a DeSantis light or a DeSantis successor.
DeSantis is kind of backhandedly endorsing him too by saying that Donald should debate him because apparently Byron Donald is ducking, not refusing to debate anybody, anybody else that's running for governor, supposedly because they're not polling well enough or some bullshit like that or whatever. But yeah, even DeSantis is saying, hey, you got to debate these guys at least. Anyway. All right. Well, that's enough Florida politics for now, right?
Yeah. I got another clip here. I think you sent me. We bash religion a lot.
Oh yeah.
And I'm all about it. I love bashing religion. It's fun. I could do it all day, every day. But you did send me one that goes, maybe we were wrong about religion. So let's see what would have prompted such an email from Dr. Chip.
If you are on birth control, use the circle. Jesus has Jesus has instead.
Now, doesn't Jesus specifically say not to, though? That's actually, now that I think about it, I believe that's Old Testament. That's Sodom and Gomorrah right there. A new covenant was formed, of course, when the New Testament was written. So perhaps that opened up some loopholes. Let's keep going. Okay, the Vatican does technically approve anal, but buggery is not really what we're talking about here. We're talking to avoid pregnancy, not.
Well, that answers your question from before. If the Pope says it's all right,
that's true. If anybody finds out, you just shuffle them around, just move them somewhere else. It'll be fine.
Jesus has you if you don't want an abortion, you can do it in the back door. That's what God put it there for.
Well, I mean, multitask maybe, but it's definitely there for a different reason. To go back to the whole to abusing priests again. You know why altar boys all have their hair parted in the middle, don't you?
No.
It says, "You are forgiven, my son." There's a little bit more of this song.
You don't want to have an abortion. The easiest solution is to maintain your virginity by doing it in the third hole. You guys, that's a message straight from Christ.
Nice. I think I sent you a clip in response to that too,
You did.
Which is the same theory, but just much snappier, much catchier. This was not this chick's idea. I think she stole it from these girls. These chicks are hilarious anyway.
All my life, I've been good. Do what my mom and dad and God say I should. Go to church and Bible school to live by God's rule. So whatever people tell me that the Bible tells me, I will do.
Yeah, we should just get to the chorus, but
Walk the halls of high school with my purity ring. Unlike those other girls, I got my morals in check. It was easy to do till I got a boyfriend. And pardon my French, but he's cute as heck.
we're definitely going to get copyright struck on this.
I'm in intact and
Well,
Jesus and
We can at least enjoy it in studio.
let's stop and talk about it for a second, because why are there no guys advocating for this? Why is it all the women?
Right? Because the guys don't get pregnant. I would imagine it's because the woman doesn't want to carry the child to term.
Have we even got to the chorus? Have they said it yet?
They have not said it
All right,
yet.
we'll get to the chorus and we'll turn it off.
Never learned about the birds and bees. I was taught to keep an aspirin in between my knees, cause the Bible says premarital sex is wrong. But Jason says that guys can't wait that long. I don't want to lose him to someone who'll do him. I need to figure something out. Well, there's a loophole in the scripture that works really well.
Loophole.
So I can
Ever-present
get it
loophole.
off without going to hell. It's my Hail Mary full of grace. In Jesus' name we go to fifth base.
There we
Thank you
go.
for making me holy. And thank you for giving me holes to choose from. And since I'm not a godless whore, they'll have to come in the back door. Therefore, fuck me in the ass, cause I love Jesus.
There it is.
Good Lord would want it that way.
Yeah.
Give me that
And if we
sweet
haven't already
sensation of a
offended
throbbing
most of our fans,
realization.
we've done it now.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And again, we're already going to get struck, so we really can't play any more of the song. But I do strongly recommend that our listeners and viewers check them out. Garfunkel and Oates, they're hilarious.
You know, and
they got a lot of songs that are quite filthy, for lack of a better term.
And again, these people say they believe in this higher power, and yet do everything they can to cheat and fool it and trick it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that the Bible tells you not to do that are, shellfish and many things.
I might
are
eat some of
ignored.
that tonight.
Yeah. You get the triple tail. It's delicious.
All right.
They still have it as a special.
So what else you got?
You want to share one now? Or I guess you just did share that one. So let's see what we got.
Is at war with the West?
I think Islam hates us. There's something there that there's a tremendous hatred there. There's a tremendous hatred. We have to get to the bottom of it.
At a certain level, it really isn't even about hatred, whether or not that's true. All right, you're talking about a religion that essentially one of the dictates of the religion is that the people in the religion must spread the religion. So if you're in a nation,
have the same thing.
Exactly, and at different points in history, different people have been more villainized than others because they've been more aggressive about the manner in which they're trying to spread the word. But so to a certain extent, if that is your faith, it's not that necessarily everybody else is your enemy, but they are your antagonist, so to speak. Your job is to convert them one way or another.
Here's the point I would make. He's saying he can't figure out what could possibly be wrong, and then in another clip we're going to probably show, he's going to say, hey, maybe you shouldn't blow up a whole building full of people.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and for sure, like the number of activists,
I can't figure it out.
The number of activists that this country has created by dropping bombs in places. I mean,
we just can't figure it out. All right, go ahead.
There is an unbelievable hatred of us.
In Islam itself?
You're going to have to figure that out, okay? You'll get another Pulitzer, right?
Certainly there's a hatred of our government, which is,
Yeah, much like we hate Israel's government.
Exactly. It's a lot easier, there's a lot of evil governments and evil institutions.
All governments could be.
I was just going to say, to a certain extent, it's almost a prerequisite in order to wield that much power is, if nothing else, the ability, if not the willingness, to indulge in unsavory international practices. But yeah, they all do it.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to figure that out. But there is a tremendous hatred, and we have to be very vigilant. We have to be very careful, and we can't allow people coming into this country who have this hatred of the United States.
I guess the question is,
and of people that are not Muslim.
I guess the question is there a war between the West and radical Islam, or is there a war between the West and Islam
It's
itself?
radical, but it's very hard to define. It's very hard to separate because you don't know who's who.
I would make the point that if you believe in some invisible guy in the sky, you could be radical. That could be a radical stance.
To a certain extent, but
that but whatever. I don't know. And here's what I'm going to say. I've been meaning to make this point for a while. We got to get rid of political parties. We got to just stop. Just stop. There's the two political bullshit parties we have now are completely fractured. We literally have four parties, and two of them completely agree with each other, even though they're on the opposite sides.
Is it better? Would it be better, even though, I hear what you're saying, to get rid of political parties, but instead of just having two, would it at least be better if there were many of them? To spread it around a little bit more?
Still, the whole point of the party is I don't have to think. I don't have to do my own decisions. These people are going to tell me which policies are good, which policies are bad, and what I should support, what I shouldn't support. At this point,
that's kind of almost the basis of representative government, though.
True.
I don't have to think. I want to elect this guy. I'm going to let him speak for me because I like him or whatever, and I think he's got the same ideas that I do.
Yeah, but why do you have to have a guy in a party telling you that? Why can't you just look at the candidate, make up your mind on your own? Why do you have to have a guy going, oh, no, that guy's no good because he went against the party? So at this point, and the same thing with people that idolize any politician, like these people that think Trump can do no wrong, or that Biden could do no wrong, or that Obama or Bush, any of them. If you believe if you belong to a political party and you worship any of these political figures, you are a beta cuck. That's just all I'm saying.
And setting yourself up for disappointment every single time.
Exactly.
It's inevitable.
Make up your own mind. Don't listen to these idiots. Anyway, all right. This thing reminds me a lot of like Duck Dynasty. I don't know what's going on here.
So we got to get in the word quick. Well, we got a 1 hour service from beginning to end. Because some of y'all got things you want to do today, and I'm just glad you came. So I want to respect your time, but I also want to get you delivered.
All right. Clearly, she's late to the duck hunt. Yeah. She's got her duck call in her pocket. She's like, I got to meet old Phil out there to get the duck hunt done. And here we go.
Start small. Start 5 minutes a day talking to God. Even if it's in the toilet.
Oh, it's just fire and brimstone preaching. That's Sam Kinison without jokes.
Wait, you talked over the joke. She says talk to him on the toilet. You just talked over it. Hold on, I'll go back a little. Hold on.
Start 5 minutes a day talking to God. Even if it's in the toilet. Leave your phone on the counter. You know you got about 5 minutes in there.
Got to prioritize.
Father, I just thank you as I'm sitting here. Lord, I just thank you that today you are working through. That today, Father, you are moving on my behalf.
Pause it. I don't know that I've ever heard that sort of zealous fire and brimstone preaching that was not accompanied with that kind of accent. It would be really weird to hear that whole bit, but done with, oh, don't you know, like a full-on Midwest,
or
Wisconsin,
British.
or British, or anything.
Australian.
Really.
That'd be
always.
pretty good.
I mean,
it'd probably fit if it was Australian.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically Sam Kinison, without jokes. That's all.
Oh yeah, those religious people. If nothing else, they're entertaining. All right, you got any more? You got a ton more.
I got a couple more. Well, some of these are just the voicemail, and then the other one. Let's see. I'm
down to like two more. We're probably almost out of time.
Oh, this is the one we did as a sound check earlier. You might want to brace yourself on this one for the volume levels.
Speaking of demonic people,
yeah, here we go.
Wait, actually, I have a new Hebrew translator. We can actually listen to him without actually hearing his ghoulish voice. Let's take a look here.
Yes, that's much less ghoulish, much better, much more approachable. See, it reminds me almost of the Tim Curry's Legend demon in the movie Legend.
Yeah.
Bring me the unicorn.
I'm
sorry. That would.
I'm afraid to continue playing this clip because I don't want to accidentally actually summon anything.
Well, that's all.
I think we've done it enough. It's like, like when they tell Ash to not actually read the book out loud, but he does it anyway.
The rest of it's pretty funny, actually.
That was my ball translator. Sorry, that just translates it into language that Ball can understand. Let me do
Assyrian,
my
probably.
English translator. This will be better.
Why you want to cut out the funny part, man?
Oh, okay, I get it now. Oh, all right. He's crying. He was crying about it. That makes sense. It's funny when you translate Hebrew into English. It's just a baby crying. Who would have thought? Wait.
All right, now stop trying to summon the.
It's too late. It's been summoned.
Right. All right. Wait. I got one that may be actually kind of related to that one right here. Our former Congresswoman. Well, not ours, but somebody in Georgia's, obviously.
Q back in 2017 when those posts were actually made. The whole trust the plan thing. The White House is posting Q propaganda on its social media accounts, and I want you guys to know something. I think you should know this. Back during the 2020 campaign and the 2024 campaign, where, by the way, I spoke at more Trump rallies than any elected Republican, the Trump team would throw out people, any rally attendee, if they had a Q shirt, QAnon, Storm has arrived, where we go one, we go all. If they were wearing a hat, a shirt, a button, or had a flag or anything, they were kicked out, or they were made to change their shirt, take off that hat. And during Trump's speech in 2024, when it was the nation in decline part of the speech with the really sad music, anytime these attendees would put their finger, like make a number one, and they pointed to the sky, security was sent around, and they were forced to take their finger down and told not to do that. You want to know
Is
why?
that a Q thing?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that sounds just like a religious thing, but all right, whatever.
Because Trump team did not want to be associated with the QAnon crowd. And they were embarrassed of the Q people and embarrassed of all of that. And that's how they treated them. But now, fast forward to 2026, when it's Trump himself that has betrayed the America First wing of MAGA and turned MAGA into Israel First, and he has totally flipped on a bunch of his campaign promises. Well, now they're trying to throw out the Q slop and propaganda to get you guys sucked back in. Never forget how you were treated. Never forget.
Okay, did you guys hear at all about now they're claiming that the whole QAnon thing was started by Epstein in conjunction with Trump? Like Trump and Epstein started it?
No, I haven't heard that.
That's what they're saying.
That's a stretch.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They're making some kind of connection there. And I don't know if you know, like General Flynn is all in on this QAnon stuff. You know who General Flynn is, right?
Yeah.
And apparently, I have no idea what General Flynn's status is with the Trump administration right now, because, I mean, they tried to throw him in jail, but now that Trump's in power, you'd think that he'd be back in favor, but he's kind of not. He's kind of still an outcast. He's not really.
Well, he was discharged, right?
Yeah. But I mean, it was all because, according to the Trumpsters, it was all drummed up shit. Now, I mean, truthfully, from what I've heard, it kind of does sound like some drummed up shit. But at this point, you think, they'd be welcome back in, back in the MAGA embraces. But I don't think he has. So I don't know. The whole Q thing is so weird. Not that, I mean, I don't know. Did anybody ever pay attention to that? Really?
I don't know.
I didn't.
It was always considered fringe.
Yeah, exactly. It's like ridiculous bullshit that's like, they kept predicting that, they're the ones that keep saying that JFK Jr. is still alive and it was going to show up at a Trump rally and take over. Yeah. I mean, they made some just ridiculously insane claims over and over again that never happened, and yet still people like, oh, yeah, QAnon, blah, 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 whatever. I don't know. But, Marjorie Taylor, I mean, she makes a good point. Why are they using Q? Why are they invoking QAnon with the Trump administration? That's just insane. But it's par for the course, I guess. I don't know.
Just another distraction, just another part of the show, another part of the circus.
But the whole thing that if in fact Epstein was behind QAnon, that would be very interesting. But anyway, we'll find out. Maybe someday.
Yeah,
anyway.
Yeah, sure we will.
Whose turn is it? Your turn or my turn?
I think it's yours. Well, we are getting close to the end.
I think I just ran that one.
I've got a clip here you sent me with Fetterman. We can look at that.
Yeah, he's always good to laugh at. He is. He's just insane, insanely hilarious. He's literally a joke of what the country has become.
All right, here we go.
All right, let me ask this: Why the deep hatred for Israel? Why?
Yeah, because I mean, if you have such contempt for Israel, I mean, of course, you're also anti-American and you're anti-Western civilization, and you're anti-capitalism and the American way of life.
How can being against any other foreign country automatically translate into being anti-American? It doesn't.
He's
I mean, if you wanted to make the argument that it means you're an anti-Semite, and even that is not true, because as we previously talked about a minute ago, there's a huge difference between a country's government and a country's people.
Yeah, they don't care.
I've very few people that I've ever met where I've thought, God, I couldn't imagine. No, it's the governments that are. Yeah,
that's
let them keep
for
going.
Political purposes, they will totally blur that distinction.
I mean, now they're all socialists, of course, and now there's communists and now Marxists, and now they're proud of this. And now, of course, we have P. Hustle in Maine. That's another one. He's a self-avowed, communist too. Now that's
no idea who that
even put down out and a significant part of the Democratic Party right now.
I mean, he didn't stutter or pause too much on that one, so that's better. I mean, than the last time we made fun of him on
The other thing I find really interesting about that is those guys are in parties that are diametrically opposed to each other. They don't seem like they're disagreeing on much there, do they? Mm-hmm. Seem like they're kind of in lockstep, don't they? So it's literally there's a wing of the Republican Party that completely agrees with the wing of the Democratic Party, and there's a wing of the Republican that completely agrees with the other wing of the. It's so insane right now. We literally have four parties,
but they still have to vote in their party. I guess maintain party lines.
No, he's been voting against his party. A lot of people say he's going to get voted out next election for sure anyway. But no, they don't exactly vote with the party. As a matter of fact, he was one of the guys that voted against the War Powers Act. And actually, there are some Republicans that did vote for it. Did you hear about that thing where they had a meeting where one of the Republican guys was screaming at Trump about this War Powers thing? Trump apparently said something to him about, you should have. He just starts screaming at him in some private behind door meetings or some shit like that. And so who knows? I don't know. So are we out of time? Or
The kind of insightful political commentary that you can only get here from the two laziest commentators possibly known to the internet, the Slack doctors.
And we absolutely have no journalistic aspirations or credibility.
Whatsoever.
And yet sometimes we're better than...
I can barely operate a mouse, and I'm having trouble seeing the keyboard.
And you're not doctors.
No, not at all. I do play one on the internet, though. But if anyone wants to call and tell us what a horrible job we've been doing, 904-549-9024. Obviously, we're still looking for plenty of comments, too. And
comments.
All over. And blow up our social media. If you want to insult us there, too, that's fine.
That's right. We're on everything
can respond
now.
to comments there.
Instagram, everything.
As previously seen, with the YouTube, I'm more than happy to engage in a comment war if anybody wants to hurl some insults. If
I can even comment now as well.
That's not encouraged. Pure debauchery. We're trying to stay on the right side of history here.
Get us kicked off of YouTube, huh?
But yeah, if I feel that my position is defendable, I will do so.
And we should also, before the end of the show, quick shout out to Growth Professor Studios. These guys are doing a great job. If you're in the Coral Springs or greater South Florida area at whatsoever, great studio. Come do a podcast in. We'd forgotten how great it was. We hadn't been here.
I haven't been here in so long. I was just going to add, it really is a pleasure to be
been
here.
Weeks since I've been here.
It's a really nice studio. The amount of the equipment is just top notch too. Like this is
absolutely.
Every time I come in, I almost feel professional, as opposed to when I'm doing it from the bunker.
Absolutely. All right, guys. I guess that'll be it for this time. We'll catch you next episode.
Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks, guys.